Avoiding the obvious. The old luxury travel fantasy had a very clear image. Peak season, scorching sun, the same postcard destinations everyone else was standing in line for. That image is over. Starting in the early 2020s, trend reports began tracking something quiet and deliberate, ultra-high net worth travelers pulling away from the obvious, moving toward shoulder season, cold destinations, remote coastlines, what the industry started calling Coolcationing, choosing places specifically because the crowds aren't there. In practice, the mechanics are silent. Instead of Ibiza in August, Lapland in July. Instead of a packed coastline, Scotland, Sweden, Alaska, the Balkans, the Caucasus. Destinations chosen precisely because of what they don't have: mass. The right travel agent knows this. They build itineraries around mild weather, thin crowds, and genuine culture, not queues and selfie spots. Here's the subversion of everything pop culture still sells. While influencers push see and be seen, many of the world's wealthiest people are paying enormous sums not to be seen at all, including blocking calendar dates specifically to avoid the periods when everyone else travels. Who controls their own calendar doesn't squeeze into school holidays. In quiet luxury, status isn't being where everyone dreams of going. It's being exactly where almost no one thought to look, when the place is at its absolute.
Privacy over spectacle. In the 1990s and 2000s, the luxury travel fantasy was obvious. The best suite in the best five-star hotel, a busy lobby, celebrities at breakfast. After the pandemic, that fantasy collapsed. Reports on ultra-high net worth behavior show a structural shift. Iconic hotels traded for private villas, private islands, exclusive chefs, personal security. A recent survey found that 86% of luxury travelers now rank privacy and seclusion as their top priority in choosing where to stay. 83% place exclusive access above everything else. The mechanics are millimeter precise. Entire properties rented for one family only. Staff under non-disclosure agreements. Private security. Sometimes a fully exclusive island where no other guest ever sets foot. Check-in is almost invisible. The car pulls directly into an enclosed garage, and the trip begins inside a closed perimeter. No red carpet. No lobby. The twist that inverts everything. The most Instagrammed hotel in the world is usually the one being actively avoided by the people who have the most to lose. Celebrities, billionaires, political figures. Choosing invisible.
The flight as recovery suite. The classic private jet image is still everywhere. Champagne, loud laughter, photo on the aircraft stairs. The reality in 2024 and beyond is something else entirely. Recent reports on executive aviation show a sharp rise in long-haul flights configured as recovery travel, cabins designed specifically for rest, silence, and wellness. Long-range jets now feature circadian lighting, filtered air, light fitness equipment, and on some routes, dedicated wellness professionals on board. In practice, the elite treats the flight as a spa extension. No staying up all night drinking before an important day. Meals are calibrated not to disturb sleep. Cabin temperature is adjusted. Screens can stay off for hours. In some cases, immigration and customs are cleared mid-flight, so the landing is as frictionless as possible, straight from the aircraft to the villa. The detail that changes everything. For many ultra-wealthy individuals, the flight is the only place where no one can reach them. Not a notification, not a visitor, not a meeting request. It's a protected interval, not a stage.
Traveling to sleep better than at home.
This might be the most counterintuitive behavior of all. Very wealthy people traveling not to see as much as possible, but to sleep. Since 2023, hospitality reports have positioned sleep tourism as one of the defining luxury movements. Trips designed specifically to recover sleep and reset the nervous system. Hilton's data points to rest and recovery becoming the primary motivation for travel in 2025, not a bonus feature. Pillow menus, calibrated lighting, pre-sleep protocols, circadian-aligned spa therapies. The mechanics are almost clinical. Rooms with heavy acoustic isolation, advanced mattresses, precision temperature and air quality control, sleep specialists available, yoga and breathwork timed to the body's natural cycle. The itinerary is 8 perfect hours of sleep per night and very few activities per day, not an infinite list of attractions. The number that makes this real: the global sleep tourism market is projected to reach into the trillions of dollars in the coming years. The cultural signal is clear. In 2026, the ultimate luxury is not being exhausted. The old story was, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." The new story is, staying longer in fewer places. The average tourist brags about 3 countries in 10 days. The ultra-wealthy traveler is moving in exactly the opposite direction. Reports on UHNW behavior show a clear pattern: longer trips, fixed bases, minimal hotel changes. Luxury operators describe clients spending weeks, sometimes an entire month, in a single destination. Quietcations, extended stays, slow travel designed for holistic depth, not checkbox completeness. The mechanics look like this. Rent a property for an extended period. Bring the chef, the personal trainer, the language tutor, the therapists, the homeschool team for the kids. Instead of rushing, days repeat with small variations. A new restaurant here, one specific excursion there, always returning to the same nest. Some hotels now sell explicit non-programs, packages where the stated offer is doing nothing at all. What the average viewer completely misses: a significant number of major decisions, investments, family strategy, mergers, get made during these still months, precisely because no one is sprinting between check-ins. Buying silence as a luxury commodity. Trend reports for 2025 identify something that sounds almost absurd until you think about it: people paying significant sums specifically for silence. Not views, not service. Silence. Quietcations, silent travel, Wi-Fi free retreats. Luxury operators report strong growth in bookings at destinations that offer what they call the exceptional luxury of genuine quiet. Rooms far from the lobby. Properties surrounded entirely by nature. Retreats that ban phones in common areas. Hotels that sell no Wi-Fi packages as a premium feature, not a limitation. Nocturnal travel. Noctotourism. Through dark and empty spaces. Private after-hours access to cultural sites. The number that makes the point: 80% of luxury travelers in Europe would pay up to €2,000 specifically for private, silent after-hours access to a museum or landmark. Psychologically, this is pure power code. You're not just buying the place. You're buying the absence of other people. Silence became the new white gold of travel. Finite, contested, available only in a few coordinates on the map. Entering culture through the back door. Research on quiet luxury travelers points to a clear fatigue with theatrical consumption. They're done being spectators. The behavior shift is specific, stepping away from the tourist circuit
and seeking backstage access, after-hours visits to museums, meals in private homes, conversations with artisans in their studios, quiet presence at local rituals most visitors never hear about. Boutique hotels and luxury operators report that 63% of high-income travelers now select destinations based on purpose and meaning, not prestige brand. In practice, this means less time in the famous attraction queue and more time at the chef's table inside the actual kitchen. More time in the painter's studio than in the gallery gift shop. More presence at small, unrepeatable local events. Many of these experiences are organized by independent properties with direct community ties, operators who can open doors that don't appear on any search engine. The detail almost no one sees. Many of the same travelers who avoid cameras during these experiences quietly fund cultural and social projects in the places that moved them, without ever turning it into content. The message they're sending isn't, "I was here." It's, "I belong here," at least for a few nights. The real upgrade isn't from economy to first class. It's from spectator to cultural accomplice.
Travel as identity mirror, not escape. The last behavior, and the most invisible one. The quiet luxury traveler in 2026 doesn't travel to escape their life. They travel to calibrate who they are. Reports on ultra-high net worth behavior show a structural migration. Luxury travel spending has moved away from pleasure and status toward experiences defined by purpose, immersion, wellness, family, business, identity architecture. The mechanics show up in itineraries that hold everything together at once, destinations that allow important meetings away from public pressure, health and longevity programs, deep family time inside isolated properties, cultural experiences that feed the personal narrative of who this person is in the world. It's not coincidence that the newest hotels, jets, and spas are being designed around circadian lighting, high-grade air quality, decompression spaces, and deep work environments. The observation that closes everything. Analysts note that for many high-net-worth individuals, the perfect trip today looks less like vacation and more like strategic retreat, the place where investments get decided, marriages get repaired, directions get